The Honourable Member Claire Curran.
Mr Chair, I'd like to take a call on Part 4 regarding amendments to the Financial Reporting Act of 1993 and just take up some of the important issues which my learned colleague Stuart Nash has mentioned around that independence. And the independence issue is actually really important, and it's about that arm's length issue of the authority. And I would like to actually remind the members in the House today and the public watching of what why we've got this piece of legislation and what it actually underpins, which is that as yet untested body called the Financial Markets Authority, which is a new consolidated market conduct regulator. It's a regulator, and in this environment, in the context of the global financial crisis, the collapse of financial companies in New Zealand, the issues that we're seeing in terms of anti-competitive behaviour in marketplaces, particularly within the telecommunications market right now, we need, and there is important place for regulation in New Zealand, and a regulator around financial markets is absolutely critical, and the independence of that regulator is also really critical, and it's absolutely essential for a vibrant and thriving and healthy democracy. This Financial Markets Authority is new. It started on the 1st of May 2011. In fact, I was just looking up the website, and there's a website, and it's looking quite cool. You're allowed to say that in Parliament. And it is going to perform those regulatory functions currently undertaken by the Securities Commission and some of those in the Government Actuary and Companies Office. And I'd also like to say tonight that while we're talking about the importance of the auditing profession, that the actuary profession, which always seemed a little bit obscure to me, and I'm sure does to many people in the community, is also an important profession, being an actuary, and that the Financial Markets Authority Act, which was formerly part of the Financial Markets Regulators and KiwiSaver Bill, established the Financial Markets Authority. And I think one of the important things again to stress tonight is that it was Labor that did much of the preliminary and groundwork around the bill that's before us today, around the establishment of the Financial Markets Authority, and in terms of the principles and the importance that underline it. And while it's important to put on record that the Commerce Select Committee's done a lot of good work, that the Minister, Simon Power's done a lot of good work, that essentially that it was Labor that kicked this process off. So with regards to Part 4 and those functions of the External Reporting Board, which goes back to that core principle of independence, the Select Committee recommended that Clause 88 inserted a new section into that Financial Reporting Act be amended in 3 ways. And the first was that the External Reporting Board should be allowed to issue auditing and assurance standards for purposes approved by the responsible minister, and this would allow standard setting to be comprehensively consolidated within one body. And secondly, that the board would be allowed to give guidance on accounting policies that have authoritative support. And thirdly, we recommended removing references to professional and ethical standards as a separate type of standard. Instead, those auditing and assurance standards would include professional and ethical standards. And I'll just note what the Section 29 actually says now, that those standards may without limitation, and I know that my learned colleague...
Mr Chair.
I call the honourable